and welcome to the Culture Ward, where we dissect and dismantle pop culture in all its forms. Well, 2025 is gone and 2026 is here. Last year was a mixed bag for sure, with some upsets and disappointments, along with some moderate surprises, and a lot of other forgettable moments. But, as I covered in a prior video, one thing for sure about 2025 was that it was definitely filled with derivative repeats, sequels, and franchises. From movies to television and even to politics. But what about 2026? What do we have to look forward to this year? Well, join us as we take a quick look ahead at the year before us and talk about what we can expect to see. And before we begin, please take a second to hit that subscribe button and help us grow the channel. As always, it really means a lot to us. And don't forget to like and share the video if you enjoy the content. And now, without further ado, let's get into it. So as I mentioned several times in previous videos, 2025 was filled with sequels, spin-offs, reboots, and other derivative slop almost to a comical degree. And we ended the year with a pretty uninspired holiday box office and Stranger Things uninspired series finale. And while there were a few pleasant surprises in 2025, I, for one, was certainly not heartbroken to see the year come to an end. But what now? Is there anything in 2026 to actually look forward to? Well, first of all, I'm going to try and avoid thinking about politics in 2026 because, like usual, it will most likely be a continuation of the same old bullshit we get every year. Division, fear-mongering, empty promises, and symbolic gestures. I just hope, for the sake of shaking things up, that we don't go to war with, like, Iran or Greenland. We'll just put a pin in that. So let's focus on what's really important. Entertainment. What does Hollywood have in store for us in 2026? Well, let's get the boring stuff out of the way. We have the pending sale of Warner Brothers to Netflix, or Paramount. Okay, I didn't get into this last year because, to be honest, it's a lot, and it's complicated, and it's boring, and frankly, no matter how it turns out, it's kind of depressing. So Warner Brothers has been in trouble for many years now, due almost entirely to bad decisions made by Warner Brothers. But make no mistake, while they have squandered a lot of goodwill and lost a ton of money, there's no doubt that Warner Brothers still has some of the greatest IPs in the world. They have the Harry Potter franchise, which includes the currently in production HBO series that's supposed to be a faithful adaptation of the entire Harry Potter book series, although with some stupid casting decisions that may have already ruined the whole thing. They also have the Lord of the Rings franchise. No, the real one, not the stupid Amazon Rings of Power bullshit. They have the DC universe, with everything that comes with that, such as Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. In other words, Warner Brothers has a goldmine of intellectual property, and whoever acquires it, be it Netflix or Paramount, is going to control an outsized proportion of pop culture assets going forward. I'm not going to get into the pros and cons of Netflix versus Paramount in this video. I may explore it in the future, but I will say that neither option is ideal. Warner Brothers should be run by Warner Brothers, independently of some other entertainment mega conglomerate. At the very worst, I would say the individual IP should be sold off piecemeal to multiple entertainment companies to prevent too much consolidation in the industry. Regardless of my opinion, however, this sale is obviously going to happen one way or another, and all I can say is that the result, regardless of what happens, is probably going to suck. Whether it's Netflix or Paramount, what we'll get is a further homogenization of content from Hollywood, and some of our favorite franchises and most beloved properties will be cheapened and sanitized once again. On the bright side, while the sale will likely go through this year, we probably won't see the fallout of this anytime in 2026. Likewise, another interesting development that's allegedly happening this year is the retirement of Kathleen Kennedy from Lucasfilm. Now, Kathleen Kennedy is a Hollywood veteran, beginning her career as a producer in the early 80s when she worked alongside Steven Spielberg on movies like Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T., and Poltergeist. She co-founded Amblin Entertainment with Spielberg and her future husband Frank Marshall. Throughout the 80s and 90s, she became known as one of Hollywood's leading producers, producing films such as the Back to the Future trilogy, Jurassic Park, and Schindler's List. In 2012, she stepped down from her company, the Kennedy Marshall Company, and became co-chair of Lucasfilm alongside George Lucas himself. A few months later, when Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Disney, she was promoted to president, where she has remained ever since. Now, her reign as president has been a mixed bag, to say the least. While she was at the helm for the production of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, which became one of the highest-grossing films of all time, despite its serious flaws, she has also been at the helm for The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, and all the Star Wars garbage that has been shat out onto Disney+, like Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi and The Acolyte, as well as other atrocious Lucasfilm projects like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Dysentery and the comically bad Willow series. For years, Lucasfilm fans have been begging Disney to fire Kennedy for ruining our favorite IPs, and rumors have circulated numerous times suggesting that her time was running out. But they all turned out to be just that, rumors. And to be honest, at the time I'm writing this news may also be classified as rumor, although it does seem to have more legitimacy than some of the previous ones. I guess we'll see in the coming days whether it's confirmed or not. If so, the news is that she will be replaced by Dave Filoni, famous for his work on the Clone Wars animated series and the live-action Ahsoka series on Disney+, as co-president alongside another longtime Lucasfilm executive, Lin-Manuel Brennan. According to sources, Filoni will be in charge of creative decisions, while Brennan will handle the business side of things. What will that mean? Will Kathleen Kennedy's departure save Lucasfilm and restore faith in the franchises? Unfortunately, probably not. I mean, Filoni is already Lucasfilm's chief creative officer, and Lin-Manuel Brennan is already president of Lucasfilm Business, so neither of their jobs is really changing that much. In other words, not much is expected to change at Lucasfilm. And in any event, whatever changes might occur almost certainly won't be apparent anytime in 2026. So then let's talk about things that we can actually expect to see this year. First, some marginally exciting things. In movies, we have a potential original hit on the horizon with Project Hail Mary, an adaptation of an Andy Weir novel, the writer of The Martian, starring Ryan Gosling. The trailers look interesting. Apparently, Earth's sun is dying and he is sent on a space mission to try and figure it out, and he encounters some kind of alien life. Fingers crossed on this one. Another original adaptation, I know that sounds kind of contradictory, but in this case it's not far from true, The Odyssey, the ancient epic poem by Homer, adapted for the giant screen by Christopher Nolan. Now I call this an original adaptation because I'm not sure the Odyssey has ever had a really faithful film adaptation before, although I do highly recommend Oh Brother Where Art Thou for a terrific loose adaptation. And Nolan's take on this classic is likely to be an unprecedented spectacle. Starring Matt Damon as Odysseus, this one looks really interesting. Dune Part 3, set to premiere next Christmas, is also something to actually look forward to. Frank Herbert's epic sci-fi classic returns for a third entry following Dune Part 2 in 2024. Not really sure how this part will be adapted due to a 12-year time gap in the source material following the events of Part 2, but we should see a trailer released soon. Another Christmas movie, or Christmas release, Werewolf by Robert Eggers looks intriguing. After the success of Nosferatu last year, expectations are pretty high that Eggers' take on werewolves, reportedly set in 13th century England, will likewise be impressive. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't at least a little excited about the Marvel movies set to premiere in 2026. First, there's Spider-Man Brand New Day, the fourth installment in the Tom Holland-led series. Not much is known about the plot of the movie so far, but we do know that it'll feature Sadie Sink of Stranger Things fame, possibly portraying a version of Jean Grey from the X-Men, as well as Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner/Hulk. And then there is the massive Marvel team-up film Avengers Doomsday set to release in December, starring, well, almost everybody. This movie is being hyped up with a lot of member berries and nostalgia bait, bringing back Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom, Chris Evans returning as Steve Rogers, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, and apparently several of the original Fox-era X-Men, including Patrick Stewart as Professor X and Ian McKellen as Magneto, as well as about 100 other legacy characters. Now, while this movie has the potential to be a huge mess, it also has some potential to be a huge nostalgia-fueled cultural event. I'm keeping my expectations in check, but I'm still excited to see it, even if only to mock it. Other possible tentpoles include Return to Silent Hill, Scream 7, Super Mario Galaxy, Supergirl, and 28 Years Later The Bone Temple. For sure, there are several sequels, reboots, and franchise entries on the board for the year, but I will at least say that it doesn't look quite as bad as 2025 in terms of derivative slop. At the same time, though, there just aren't that many things that sound exciting either, at least not at the cinema. Now, I would be remiss to not at least mention The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is set to release in May. This movie, I assume, follows the Disney Plus show, The Mandalorian's third season, and allegedly takes the place of a fourth season of that show. Now, I did enjoy the first two seasons of the series, although it got kind of repetitive as the season wore on. However, season 3 was terrible. and I just kind of got tired of seeing Grogu, who hasn't really experienced any character development since season 1. He still acts like a child, doesn't speak, and his entire purpose seems to be to just look cute and sell merchandise. And with all that said, I can't say that I'm excited at all for this movie. And honestly, I don't think many other people will be either. Maybe it'll earn back its budget, but I highly doubt this is going to be a huge box office juggernaut. But once again, I will at least enjoy mocking it, and who knows, maybe I'll be totally surprised and it will become an instant classic. Win-win, I would say. Anyway, 2026 looks like a fairly muted affair at the box office with a handful of exciting moments. The question is whether Hollywood, or the film industry at large, will start to get better this year. 2025 was one of the worst years on record in terms of ticket sales, and with budgets ballooning out of control, profits were even worse. Survive Till 25 turned out to be a bust. So will 2026 finally see the industry turn around? I must say, based on the current slate, it doesn't look likely that the box office is going to shatter expectations. In the world of streaming, we have Spider Noir to look forward to on MGM Plus and Amazon Prime. As a spin-off of the Spider-Verse movies, this series will follow a Spider-Man variant from a film noir universe, starring Nicolas Cage as the titular Spider-Person. Now, I'm hoping they stick the landing on this show because the character in the movies is really great, and this could be a lot of fun. Equally fun, but for completely opposite reasons, Marvel is releasing 2 series this year on Disney+, including Wonder Man and Vision Quest. I expect both will be pretty terrible, but I'm hoping that they will be delightfully cringeworthy, making them fun to watch and make fun of. Likewise for the new Star Trek Starfleet Academy show, the trailers for which look hilariously awful. Other potential hits include the 2nd season of One Piece Into the Grand Line, a new Duffer Brothers sci-fi series called The Burrows, House of the Dragon Season 3, the new DCU series Lanterns, and, fingers crossed, Daredevil Born Again Season 2, which I'm really hoping will be an improvement over Season 1, featuring the return of Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones. And of course, this list would not be complete without mentioning the most anticipated project in 2026, indeed the most anticipated entertainment product in the history of media, the massive video game Grand Theft Auto 6, which is currently set to release in November, assuming, of course, that there are no more delays. If you ask me what I am most excited about this year, I would have to reluctantly admit that this is it. As irritated as I am for all the delays, it has been 13 years since the last entry in the franchise, and as worried as I am that they went woke due to some rumors over the years, I am still just really excited for this game. I've been a die-hard Grand Theft Auto fan since GTA 3 back in 2002 and have absolutely loved every major entry in the series since. Vice City, San Andreas, GTA 4, and 5. And I've been waiting for this game for years, and honestly, I can't wait to play it. I'll likely do a briefish history video about the franchise leading up to the release, and may even revisit some of the old titles while we wait. I actually just started a playthrough of Rockstar's other groundbreaking game, Red Dead Redemption 2, to kind of prepare for GTA 6. Apparently some of the gameplay and mechanics are going to be very similar. Anyway, it's worth looking forward to 2026 for this alone, for me. And indeed, this product will likely dwarf all other entertainment this year in both volume and profit. Hell, there's a non-zero chance that this game alone could earn more than the entire 2026 combined worldwide box office. If the previous title was any indication, GTA 5 has earned over $8 billion so far. Anyway, that's a brief look ahead at 2026. Definitely potential for some great moments of entertainment and plenty of happenings behind the scenes to be on the lookout for, including news and leaks and maybe even some official looks at the Harry Potter series, the future of the MCU, and the extremely uncertain future of James Gunn's DCU. And while the box office may continue to see diminishing returns, there are some potential big moments in the streaming and video game industries that may still make 2026 one for the record books. At the very least, there should be plenty of opportunities to make engaging content, even if only to mock and deride. Well, what do you think? What projects are you most excited for in 2026? Do you think Hollywood will be saved? Join the conversation in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Bye for now. We hope to see you next time in the Culture Wars.